Who are the Wyatt Sicks, and what do I need to know about them in order to really understand their Halloween Horror Nights house? Well, stay tuned and grab your blinky cups. We have a lot to talk about. Sup, my dudes, it's Demi, and Universal has finally announced the horrors of the Wyatt Sicks are coming to Halloween Horror Nights, Orlando, and to Hollywood. And as a massive WWE fan and a massive Horror Nights fan, I wanted to take the time to really explain to you who the Wyatt Sicks are, because if you don't watch wrestling, you're not gonna have a clue what's going on in this house. So if you do find this video helpful, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you have not done so already. And stay tuned for all of my Halloween Horror Nights coverage to come. And let's get into it. Let's talk about the Wyatt Sicks and let's go get into some hijinks. So before we can even talk about the Wyatt Sicks, we have to go back in time and talk about the man that started it all, Bray Wyatt. And real quick before I even talk about Bray Wyatt, if you literally have no clue what wrestling is, it's not just fighting. There are characters and storylines. It is essentially a soap opera. And Bray Wyatt was one of those people who really knew how to tell stories really well within his characters. Bray's real name was Wyndham Rotunda, and he came into WWE with the character of Bray Wyatt, which started as a backwoods bayou cult leader where he would sit in a rocking chair and have a little lantern, and eventually created the Wyatt family, where they basically followed him as their cult leader. And he was prophesized to be this cult leader by the mysterious Sister Abigail, which eventually would become Bray Wyatt's signature finisher move, which is, if you don't know wrestling, kind of like the last big move before you win. And he would call his fans his little fireflies. Unfortunately, the character of Bray Wyatt would go away, but then one Monday Night Raw in 2019, the show cut to what looked like a children's television show called the Firefly Funhouse, and even had this bop of a children's theme song.
We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never ever end.
And then in comes Bray Wyatt, looking very different. His beard is trimmed, he's wearing a sweater, he looks super happy, and he's telling us, I'm leaving the old me behind. Bray is joined by some friends in the Firefly Funhouse, like Mercy the Buzzard, Huskus the Pig Boy, Ramblin' Rabbit, and Abby the Witch, who is based off of Sister Abigail, the ominous being that told him to be a cult leader in the first place. But of course, this wasn't just a random kid show in the middle of Monday Night Raw, because while it looked all nice and clean, it was filled with dark and scary messages, and even sometimes death to some of the characters like Ramblin' Rabbit. So while Bray was telling us, I am leaving this cult leader behind, inside of him lived a brand new character that he seemed like he was trying to fight off, but eventually you would have to let him in, and it was The Fiend. The Fiend was a terrifying monster with a clown-like mask and supernatural powers. And week to week, we would see new episodes of the Firefly Funhouse with The Fiend trying to come out of Bray Wyatt, until one day he finally does. The Firefly Funhouse and The Fiend were a huge deal in 2019. People were loving it. It was spooky, it was scary. The way that they were telling the story was really captivating. And the last time we would see The Fiend would be at WrestleMania 37. Even Bray Wyatt himself said after that WrestleMania, The Fiend was dead. And once The Fiend was dead, WWE actually fired Bray Wyatt, but then they brought him back in 2022. Prior to his return, WWE was doing this really cool thing where they would flash QR codes and images of white rabbits and lots of clues to see if the audience would figure out what's going on, and the audience did figure out that Bray was coming back. And when he comes back, he's not alone. Within different parts of the audience are the Firefly Funhouse characters come to life. And then they show the Firefly Funhouse, but the music is all like wah, wah now, and it looks like it's been all messed up, and it's spooky and scary. And there is someone also dressed as the Fiend, but it's not Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt comes in a different mask and then takes off the mask as soon as he walks in. And in this return, Bray is telling us, I'm leaving all that behind. This is the new me. You all saved me. I'm trying to be like my most actual self for the first time. Like, the storytelling is truly amazing. And then finally in December of 2022 on a Friday Night SmackDown, Uncle Howdy appears for the first time in person, and he is played by Bray Wyatt's real-life brother, who goes by the name of Bo Dallas. And unfortunately, this is a part of the story that changes everything. Bray Wyatt has to go on medical leave. and a few months later, unfortunately, he passes away due to complications. It was August 24th in 2023 at the age of 36. Once Bray was on medical leave, Uncle Howdy was also not to be seen. But then one day in 2024, WWE started flashing QR codes again and other cryptic messaging, and people realized Uncle Howdy is coming back. And this, my dudes, is the start of the Wyatt Sicks. At the end of a Monday Night Raw in June of 2024, the Wyatt Sicks made their debut. And let me tell you, their return was like watching a Halloween Horror Nights house. First, the iconic music started to play, and then you saw a girl crawling with this creepy mask to a lantern that's on the floor. The cameraman then walks backstage, and you see this really tall rabbit with this mallet that says help, and people just on the floor beneath him. He then heads backstage even more, and the lights are all flickering. There are people on the floor. It literally looks like someone was pew-pewed in the head. And then you see a man in a buzzard mask sitting crisscross, looking very happy with himself. You then see a man in a pig mask. And finally, you see wrestler Chad Gable look basically dead. Like, the entire community was like, oh my gosh, Chad Gable's dead. He wasn't dead, he was fine, and it was just part of the story, and he didn't even die in the story. It was very effective. After showing Chad Gable, the camera then pans to showing Uncle Howdy is back. And then him and all of his friends walk out into the crowd looking super, super scary, and then Uncle Howdy says, "We're here," and blows out the lantern in tribute to Bray Wyatt. I really don't think anything in wrestling in terms of spookiness really tops that moment. It was truly amazing and terrifying and just done so brilliantly. And now you have the Wyatt Sicks. And if you're thinking, Demi, why are they the Wyatt Sicks when there's 5 of them? Well, at first we thought maybe that this wrestler Alexa Bliss was gonna come back and be their 6th member, but she came back and she wasn't. So we just kind of think that the 6th spot is in honor of Bray Wyatt. And of course, within the Wyatt Sicks, you have Uncle Howdy, still being portrayed by Bray Wyatt's real-life brother, who goes by Bo Dallas. And if you notice that the other members of the Wyatt Sicks look strangely familiar, that's because they are the real-life versions of the Firefly Funhouse. Wrestler Nikki Cross plays Abby the Witch. Eric Rowan, who was actually an original member of the Wyatt family, plays Ramblin' Rabbit. Dexter Loomis plays Mercy the Buzzard. And Joe Gacy plays Huskus the Pig Boy. When they first came back, Abby the Witch would leave VHS tapes for the WWE to play, and it looked really good. Like, it was really creepy looking and old, and it was Uncle Howdy interviewing Bo Dallas. And it was actually kind of heartwarming in a really creepy way, because Bo Dallas was like trying to figure out, is it right to continue on without Bray, or do we do this in honor of Bray? And Uncle Howdy is, there to tell him, you have to keep doing this and keep going and be basically this version of yourself, because that's who you are. And he does. The other members of the Wyatt Sicks are people that feel like they have lost their place in the world, and they all come together to kind of like honor and worship Bray Wyatt. They basically feel like the leftovers, and they found themselves a family. A very creepy, scary family. And then, believe it or not, you guys, after this incredible entrance and all the lead up and all the VHS stuff, WWE kind of just like stopped using the Wyatt Sicks for like a few months there. Like, they were just like gone. We just couldn't believe it. And then they finally came back recently, and they're starting to do more things again. They're being creepy, and they're kind of focused in the tag team division right now, and they became tag team champions in July of 2025. And that's when I knew that this Halloween Horror Nights house was going to be happening. Well, my dudes, that was the story of the Wyatt Sicks. I hope this video helped you get prepared for your visit to Halloween Horror Nights. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you don't miss anything that goes on this channel. And follow me on Instagram at Magical Hijinx. Check out the Patreon. Become a patron to get exclusive bonus content, bonus lives, help with trip planning, access to our Discord, and so much more. And you'll be helping me to continue bringing you great content like this to this channel. And until next time, my dudes, I hope you guys get into some hijinks very, very soon. And I'll see you in the fog. Bye-bye.